Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the Tortuga Daily Carry Pro. And Tortuga is well known for making some really great travel backpacks, but I've always thought that they have some of the most underrated daily bags as well. On the wall behind me, I have the Setout Laptop backpack, which is one of my all-time favorite bags. I was also a big fan of the Outbreaker laptop backpack and was pretty bummed when those were discontinued. I actually reached out to Tortuga to see if they had anything similar coming up, and they said, hold on, we have something that we think you're gonna like. And that is the Daily Carry Pro, which I've now had a chance to use for a couple of weeks. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use it. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, the appearance here is meant to feel similar to Tortuga's Pro travel backpack, and so it's got the same kind of modern, techie appearance. It's pretty minimal. This is something that I think is gonna work well in a lot of different situations, so I'd be comfortable taking this into an office, and it's also just gonna be great for exploring a city and of course for traveling. As far as the materials, the bag feels very solidly built. This exterior fabric is eco-pack, so it's gonna offer plenty of durability and excellent weather resistance. I've had really great experiences with this fabric in the past, and I like that it also helps keep the weight of the bag down. This comes in at under 3 pounds, which I think is pretty good for the size and features that are offered here. And then beyond that, you also have just really solid components all throughout, including Woojin buckles and aqua-guarded YKK zippers. Continuing along the outside of the bag, you have dual external water bottle pockets. These are gonna offer a nice amount of capacity and elasticity. I was able to store my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler comfortably in the pockets. You can see that it expands outwards, so even when the bag is packed out, you're able to take advantage of these, and so great to have one on each side for 2 bottles, for an umbrella, and then when they're not in use, because of that elasticity, they kind of stay close to the bag to maintain a cleaner look. And then you have handles at the top and side of the bag that will allow you to pick the bag up, hang it up, or also just carry it kind of like a briefcase. And these handles are pretty minimal. You have a material that feels durable, but it's not gonna offer a lot of comfort. They're very thin, they can start to kind of dig into your hands. And you know, they're just quite different from some of the handles that I've seen on Tortuga's other bags. They're typically more cushioned and premium feeling, so I was a little sad to see that those weren't used here. And then on the branding front, you have Tortuga's logo on the front. I like that it's fairly subtle. It kind of blends in to the exterior of the bag. And the last thing I'll mention is that this has managed to stand up on its own when it's packed out, but it's been more inconsistent than I would have expected given the shape of the bag. So you can see that it kind of has a tendency to lean forward a little bit, and once you pull the laptop out and things shift, it has, you know, tipped over, so I generally find myself kind of leaning it against the wall or a chair. Moving into the capacity, this comes in at about 25 liters, which I'm always a fan of as I feel like it can work well in a lot of different situations. I can use it as a daily bag, and it's gonna give me some extra space for longer days or minimal travel. This does feel like a pretty generous 25 liters. I was impressed with how much it was able to hold. And it's also designed to be a personal item that can slide under the seat in front of you on a variety of different airlines. I do think that the height and the depth will maybe be over the limits on some of the stricter international airlines, but I've always had great experiences traveling with bags of this size on various airlines, even overseas. I haven't run into any issues, so you know, you just kind of have to keep that in mind depending on who you're gonna be traveling with. And then I like that even when the bag is a little bit more packed out, although it can get a little bit larger, it doesn't feel overwhelmingly bulky. Because of the profile and the design, it still feels pretty sleek and like something that's gonna work well for navigating crowded areas and jumping onto public transit. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. Tortuga always does a great job with their harnesses, so I was happy to see a similar style here. So you're gonna have a nice amount of padding on the straps that feels really soft and cushioned on the inside. You have this breathable kind of patterning and mesh, and then the straps also have a good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. You have a couple of attachment points here on the strap that you can use to clip on accessories or maybe hang your sunglasses. And then you have an adjustable sternum strap here And on the back panel, you also have a nice amount of padding that's well distributed. You have that same kind of breathable patterning and mesh here. And then you have a little bit of an air channel here. I do wish that this was slightly deeper, but for the most part, it still feels like you have some ventilation while you're walking around. And it's definitely gonna be something that you'll be able to wear without any issues, even when it's a little bit more loaded out. And the last thing I'll mention while we're on the back is that you also have a luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on your suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, you have a nice variety of pockets all throughout. On the front, you have a zippered quick access pocket with a vertically oriented zipper. So if you're carrying this by the side handle or it's resting on your luggage, you'll be able to access this section easily. I like that it has this sort of flap that kind of comes over the zipper. And then on the inside, you're gonna have a nice amount of space. I really like that this has enough volume to handle a variety of different types of items. So at the moment, I'm using this to store my USB-C hub and its cables. So I just kind of toss those in there without any issue. And then I also have my Alpaca admin pouch. And even with those items in there, there was plenty of leftover capacity. No internal organization here. So, the items may slide to the bottom, but I like that there's, just a lot of flexibility with how you can use it. You can also start to see the lighter lining on the inside, so you have good visibility. And then at the top, you have a great quick access pocket with a well-protected zipper here. And then this is gonna offer a nice amount of capacity. At the moment, I'm using it to store my AirPods as well as my sunglasses with their bulkier case. This is the style of pocket that I always just love using because it's spacious, it's right at the top, it's easy to reach down and grab something. And then you also have a little lanyard with a clip that's gonna be a good spot for your keys or a multi-tool. Behind that, you have a larger compartment, which has some internal organization, but what I really like about it is that it goes all the way to the bottom of the bag, so you can fully utilize this height, and it almost works as like a secondary primary compartment with how much it can hold. And so at the bottom, I just tossed in a couple of pouches and accessory. Here I have a packable tote bag, and then I also have a pouch from Alpaca. This is the type of pocket that I love using for toiletries or for a packable jacket, an extra pair of shoes. When I'm traveling, it just gives you so much extra flexibility as far as how you can organize with that space that's provided there. And then you have a nice updated organizational layout here at the top. So you have a zipper pocket that has this nice mesh that you can kind of see on the inside and enough volume to handle things like a headlamp. I also have my phone mount. And then above that, another zippered pocket that I'm currently using to store my scissors and then a little multi-tool. And I really like that these have a nice amount of volume. So you can see that they will adapt to all types of items. And you also have an elastic slip pocket here that I'm currently just using to store a charging cable for my tablet and my phone. On the back of the bag, you have a dedicated laptop compartment that has a lockable zipper. And I always like having a separate compartment to just make it easier to get to my device during the day. And you have a tablet sleeve and a laptop sleeve, which is really great to see that they're both gonna be padded. They're gonna offer a soft lining and they're suspended off the bottom of the ground. And so on the front with the tablet sleeve, I currently have an iPad mini. You can see that's kind of getting swallowed up there. So you could definitely store a larger tablet. And then behind that, I have my 14-inch MacBook Pro. You can see that there's some leftover space. Should be able to handle a 15 or 16-inch laptop. And so really nice implementation here. Pulling my device out, you can get a better look at the inside and that soft lining that I was mentioning earlier. And this comes up a decent amount. So if you happen to have a thicker laptop, it should be able to handle that. And so with the amount of padding that's offered here and the fact that it's suspended, it does feel like my device is gonna be well protected while I'm on the go. And then on the front here, you have an additional zippered pocket. That'll be a great spot to store, kind of your related tech accessories. I'm just using this to hold my laptop charger at the moment, but definitely the type of place where I might also toss a portable hard drive or my mouse. And then the last area that we're gonna be taking a look at is the main compartment. This also has a lockable zipper, and I like that it has these zipper pulls to make it easier to tell which compartment you're accessing. And so this does have a clamshell style opening to make it easier to see and organize this section. And I love this open space here. Again, 25 liters of space, very generous. It's gonna be able to easily handle my day-to-day loadout. At the moment, I have my Beats Studio wireless headphones, my AR glasses, a pouch from Peak Design, Civic Access pouch 1 liter from Evergoods, an AirTech pouch, and then the Civic Access pouch 2 liters. And even with all those things in there, there was still plenty of leftover space. And then with this layout, I could definitely use this for minimal travel if I wanted to toss in a packing cube, a toiletry bag, an extra pair of shoes, and some additional items. I could definitely use this for a longer weekend trip, maybe even longer if I was traveling a little bit more minimally. And so really simple layout here, no compression straps or additional pockets, which I really like. And then you again have that light liner to provide plenty of visibility. And moving over to the lid, you have one additional zippered mesh pocket here, which again is gonna offer a nice amount of space. You can see on the inside, good spot for smaller items that you don't need to access quite as quickly, but that you still wanna be able to get to. And so at the moment, I'm just using this to store a field notes notebook, but good spot for other tech accessories. You could toss a pouch in here, toiletries, and you know, these type of pockets are always very useful. And if you don't want to use it, just kind of stays out of the way. And so overall, I really like how everything was laid out throughout the bag. I had high expectations for this one, and for the most part, it really feels like it delivered. And so if you're looking for something that's going to be solidly built, really comfortable, and offer a very useful organizational layout, and it's going to be an excellent option to check out. And so to wrap up, you can currently purchase this on the company's site. It's going to come in at around $250, so definitely an investment, but you are getting something that's very solidly built and is going to offer a nice feature set that's going to compare well against some of the other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, one of the first bags this made me think of is the Evergoods CTB26, which is one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely love the layout and the style of that bag. Really great quick access pockets, dual external water bottle pockets, clamshell style opening, dedicated laptop compartment, luggage pass-through. So it really just checks off all the boxes for what I'm normally looking for. Very solid build quality. It's now offered in a couple of different fabrics and sizes. I've also been a big fan of the CTB20. And so, you know, it just continues to be such a great bag to travel with, to use for all sorts of different situations. And so if you're looking for something that's gonna offer an excellent layout and a subdued appearance, then that's gonna be one of the best options to take a look at. The next bag this made me think of is the Able Carry Max EDC, which comes in at around 26 liters, so it's pretty similar in capacity to this one here. It's got a really nice kind of modern, techie, and slightly rugged appearance. I really like the X-Pack exterior that it offers. Super comfortable harness systems. It's one of the few that I would say is as comfortable as Tortuga's. It's got a luggage pass-through, a nice organizational layout, laptop compartment, and so it's just gonna be a really great kind of all-purpose bag. And so if you're looking for something that's just gonna offer a little bit of a different layout than this one here, then that's gonna be one of the best options to keep in mind. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Air City Pack Pro 2. That one comes in at around 24 liters. It feels a little more compact than this one here. It's been one of the bags that I've really enjoyed using as a personal item while traveling. It's got a super comfortable harness system, luggage pass-through, dual external water bottle pockets, dedicated laptop compartment that's padded, suspended, really nice organizational layout, clamshell style opening, and it also has a really modern kind of techie vibe, durable materials, and so, you know, just a super useful bag, whether you're using it for your day-to-day or for traveling. And if you're looking for something that's gonna be slightly smaller and still offer a lot of the same benefits, then that's gonna be a great option to take a look at. With that being said, the Daily Carry Pro holds up very well against all those options, definitely following in the footsteps of the Outbreaker and Setout Laptop backpacks, and is quickly becoming one of the bags that I reach for first when I'm heading out. And so if you're looking for something that's gonna offer durable materials, a great organizational layout, and that's gonna be comfortable to wear, then that's gonna be an excellent option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Daily Carry Pro and how it compares to some of the other popular minimal travel bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I wanna thank Tortuga for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.